Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Prophet74. Today, I bring you the Dell XPS model. Now, what do you think? It's a good gaming system or not? We're going to find out. We're going to do some tests, some tolerance, and put it to use, see how well it works. So if you guys like what you guys see, make sure you guys subscribe. So let's go ahead and continue. They give you the actual power cord and a little setting and little information in here, not that bad. They do give you this is like a port, an extra port they give you for this is for HDMI and the USB, and of course they give you a little tuck-in. Let's open it up so you guys can see it. This is a nice little neat little thing that they give you. Instead of you buying the hubs, they give you now these little hubs that are embedded in there. If you guys can see, really tiny little cord, but it's a Type C, and you get two ports out of it. You get actually a USB, and then you get a HDMI connection. So those that are using the old technology or you need those extra ports, this is going to help you. Now, this is very neat that it tucks in itself, and we're going to put it back for a bit. The battery itself, the charging station, it's not that bad. It's not a big old brick like the powerful machines that you see most of the times that take a lot of power. That's not bad. It's easy to set up, and of course they do the power cord and everything else. We're going to put this on the side. Nothing else other than the instructions, how to, and very simple to use. So this is what you get, real nice and neat setup. We're going to take a look at the actual computer now, and let's see what you get when you purchase up this. Like the whole casing itself, it's all aluminum base. So compared to a Mac, it's about the same weight as a Mac. But air vents in here that you have, the ventilations, air vents in here. Another one is here, right here in the back that you kind of cannot see that much, but real simple, you know, and it does get a little hot. We're going to test that out where all the heat's coming from. Now let's take a look at the side. Let's take at the first side. So right here you have a jack 3.5, and then you got a SD card reader in here. So those are photography. You know, you can put your SD card in here, and then you have a Type C connection. Is a Thunderbolt in here. Actually, it's not a Thunderbolt. It's a Type C connection. We're going to flip it over to the other side. Here you have a lock mechanism, and then you got two Type C connections in here too. So one's a charging, one is a Thunderbolt that you do charge it, and the other one aren't. So we're going to put the description in here. Now let's take a look at the inside of the Dell itself. You guys can see the carbon fibers can protect it with this nice little protection plastic in there. A big giant touchpad that they have in here. Now the keyboard itself. Little test on the keyboard, if you guys notice. I'm going to start typing away. Like a couple of features, like so if you could put function, if you hold the function and then you could light up the keyboards, they turn on, and then you could turn it off. Now, like I said, if you're going to continue turning it on, you're going to have an issue where the battery runs out faster. So now on this machine in particular, the speakers are long. I like them that they put them right here in front of you. So instead of on the bottom like it used to be, they actually have them out here. Now, unfortunately, the camera is still a little tiny slimmed down. If you guys can see the camera and the mic and the sensors are right there. So you might have a little couple of problems with it if you're doing a Zoom call or anything like that. But we're going to test it out too and see how well it looks. All right, let's start testing this out. And this is the camera. And to be honest with you, I have lights in here, and it's not very good the quality as you can see. So it's just one of those things that I'm a little disappointed over it. I thought it was going to be a little bit better because, but the light, there's a little tiny light on the actual camera on here, and it's kind of like right in your eyes. I'm not sure if it's recognizing my eyes or anything, but it's about 720. It's not a 1080. This is very poor quality. And if I turn off the lights, of course, let me see if I can turn on one of the lights. This is with one light, and it's gonna adjust, and it actually looks a little tiny better. That's with one light over me, but the quality is not that very good. But the audio, I see that it is working very well. So that's just a test on the actual video camera. So let's go ahead and continue. Do a noise test here. Around 50 decimals. And let's open it up and see what's under the hood. I want to do that, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so to open it up, you're gonna need a little star. So you're gonna have to find a little tiny little star and put it in there. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we got all the screws out, and like I said, some of them are very delicate. You gotta be careful on them because you could run them, and it's a star version of it. So it's a little tiny star. I'm not sure how many centimeters it is, but Like I said, it's something that I don't suggest anybody opening it up. So we're gonna open it up here. If you guys can see, you have two memory cards, two memory chips right here. And as you can see, it has two memory slots in here. And this is a 16 gig to make 32. And it is a Samsung memory. So I want to find out how many hertz is it compared to the other one. But right now it looks like it's 3200. So it's a nice, powerful machine. It says right here 3200. 32, so we have 32 gigs of memory on this. It's not bad. Installing the memory is very simple. You know, you go upgrade this, which is great. Down the line, you know, want to do 64 down the line, you can do that. They give you one slot for M.2. Unfortunately, they don't give you another copper for the second one because this is the second. And they give you the actual chip, the actual screw is right here, if you guys can see it. So you can use it from here. So you're able to upgrade another NVMe right here. Pretty much you just basically just lock it in there and slide it in there. Right now this is a 2 terabytes. I'm just putting there as an example what you can upgrade. So you can upgrade a nice little M.2 slot. You have that slot here. The thermal chamber is pretty simple. So you got your GPU on this end, and this is the Nvidia chip, and then you got your CPU on this end. And of course down the line you go upgrade your NIC card, and it's built in now. Everything's it looks like an actual chip in there. It looks like an Intel chip that was built in. I opened it up. There is a thermal paste in there because I guess it overheats now with the new stuff. There's a crazy connection. If you guys notice down here, this one actually identifies with the 3.5 connection, your jack, your audio jack. So if you guys can see, there's pins right here. They actually connect here and make contact with the actual motherboard itself. Now this was an 86 watts battery. It'll last you many hours. Now if you're gonna use your in-light for your keyboard and you're gonna use, if you're gonna play games and stuff, of course it's gonna use more of the batteries and stuff like that. But if you guys can notice, you have two fans instead of one. On some of the older machines, they used to put one. Now, the thermal chamber is pretty cool, and hopefully it's going to keep the whole system cool. We're going to test it out and do some, some testing on it, see how hot it gets. And easily you can replace the battery. That's one of the best important, easiest things you can do, replace the battery. And they give you all these slots right here. They give you little arrows showing you exactly what you need to unscrew. And there's a couple more here in the bottom if you guys can see it, but once you remove that, it should be simple as picking it up and disconnecting. The connection is right here for the battery. Very simple. You just disconnect it. It even tells you battery right there. So I like that Dell still makes it available for you to actually make some changes in here to do benchmark. Right now for gaming, we're looking at 70%. Desktop, we're looking at 85. It's a real good desktop. Workstation, it's poorly. It's at 70%. Graphic wise, we have an RTX 2060. It's 100%. This GPU can only handle basic 3D games, all right? So it tells you right here that the GPU, it's not the greatest, but it could handle some of the graphics. All right, so now we're looking at the Celsius. We just changed to Fahrenheit, sorry. And we're looking at 100 degrees right here, right in the center. If you can notice right here on the edges, it gets a little hot right here. And this is just the front of the computer. And when you're playing games, this is pretty much how you're going to be heating. The heat is concentrated here and in the corners. So nothing on the side. We don't have any heat coming out of the side. But we do have a couple of spots, like right here. It's a dead spot right here. But you can see all the heat. It's not the stream very good, and of course, the closer you get, the louder it gets. We're also going to do a noise test too, and we're going to turn it around and see how hot it is. And right now, I'm running a benchmark. That's why it's getting extremely hot. So let's turn it around and see what's in the back. So behind the Dell, look at the Dell intake. It's blowing the air out here. We're looking at close to 104 on the bottom, on the back. And the inside, let's pick it up a little bit and let's see what's on the bottom of it. See how hot it gets. See how hot, extremely hot it gets. So we're looking at right here where the inputs, this is where it's sucking all the air in. And we're getting a 90 right here. But look at this, extremely hot right there in the CPU and GPU, 114. And I'm running it. I'm actually running a lot of stuff so I could make sure it could benchmark at the same time. The GPU and the CPU can get overheated, so we could see how much tolerance it could take. So that's pretty much the core of the machine that runs pretty good. It has 8 cores. on the Intel. Now it does overheat a little bit. That I kind of hesitate about playing any kind of games on it because I don't want to overheat it. This machine is okay for students if you're going to work on minor graphic things because the graphic chip is not the greatest. It still needs a little bit more horsepower on it. It does tend to overheat when I did a benchmark on it, but overall, it's a great machine to have around. Now, like, if you want to have it to last longer on your battery life, turn off the in light and maybe less of the graphical stuff, and it's great for students out there. It's a little bulky compared to a Macintosh. We're gonna see, how bulky it is, but all right, so we're gonna compare it with a MacBook. All right, and this is a larger MacBook, and you look at this on the size comparison. It's a little tiny, little bigger on the MacBook size, but it seems like it's a little it's similar to the size of it. I mean, if I put a box, it's kind of equally sized from there, so it's not that bad. But we're gonna put it side by side, of course. Being the smaller one, you're gonna see it from the top view, compared to a Mac. The MacBook's a little bit larger than this one, all right? So it does have more lean. It's like half an inch larger. So you are gonna see a little difference on the side of it. It's probably where it's supposed to be shining on it, but if you guys can see it, seems like the XPS. It's actually smaller. So very good stuff that I like about it. It's heavy as heavy as the Mac almost, but it's a little heavier on the XPS. All right, I can tell because of the weight that I see on the system. So this is pretty much what it is and what you get. So if you guys like what you guys see, make sure you guys subscribe. I'm your host, Prophet 4, and we're out.